A helicopter disappears into thick fog above the hills of California. Minutes later, the basketball world loses one of its biggest icons. Kobe Bryant is 41 years old. His daughter Gianna is sitting beside him. 7 other people are on board. But Kobe wasn't the first basketball legend whose life ended without warning. One legend dominated the NBA while his own heart was slowly failing. Another played 10 professional seasons with a heart abnormality nobody had discovered. One collapsed on a basketball court at just 27. Another was entering the prime of his career when a drive through Germany ended everything. And Kobe, we'll come back to that helicopter, because this is how basketball's greatest legends died, and some of these endings are almost impossible to believe. We begin with Bill Russell. 11 championships, 5 MVP awards, 13 seasons with the Boston Celtics. No player in NBA history has won more championships. Russell also became the NBA's first black head coach and one of the most important athlete activists of his generation. Unlike many of the legends coming next, Russell was given something they weren't: time. On July 31st, 2022, Russell died peacefully at the age of 88, with his wife Janine by his side. His family did not publicly identify a specific cause. After decades of championships, conflict, activism, and pressure, one of basketball's greatest winners had one of its quietest endings. His greatest rival wasn't as fortunate. Wilt Chamberlain looked almost indestructible. 7 feet 1, around 275 pounds during his playing career. He scored 100 points in a single NBA game and averaged 50.4 points across an entire season. Wilt didn't just break records, he created numbers that still look broken. But underneath that enormous frame was a problem strength couldn't solve: his heart. Chamberlain experienced heart problems for years. In 1992, he was hospitalized because of an irregular heartbeat. On October 12, 1999, Chamberlain died at his home in Los Angeles. He was 63, one of the most physically dominant athletes basketball had ever seen, ultimately lost to something nobody watching him play could see. And decades later, another legendary big man would suffer a similar ending. Moses Malone played professional basketball for more than 2 decades. 3 NBA MVP awards, more than 27,000 NBA points, an NBA championship, a Finals MVP. In 1983, his confidence became legendary when he predicted Philadelphia's playoff path with 3 words: 4-4-4. Win every series in 4 games. He was almost right. Philadelphia went 12-1 and won the championship. 32 years later, on September 13, 2015, Malone was found dead in a Virginia hotel room. He was 60. The medical examiner attributed his death to natural causes associated with cardiovascular disease. No final game, no dramatic warning. He simply didn't wake up. But here's where the pattern becomes disturbing. Less than 3 weeks earlier, another famous NBA big man had died. Darryl Dawkins was 6 feet 10 and so explosive that his nickname, Chocolate Thunder, somehow didn't feel exaggerated. In 1979, Dawkins famously shattered 2 backboards with dunks. Then, on August 27, 2015, Dawkins died after suffering a heart attack. He was 58. 2 famous NBA big men, 17 days apart, both dead from cardiovascular problems, but none of those deaths prepared basketball for what doctors discovered inside the body of the next player. Pete Maravich didn't die decades after retirement. He died playing basketball. Pistol. Pete was one of the most creative offensive players the sport had ever seen. At Louisiana State University, Maravich averaged 44.2 points per game across his varsity career, and he did it without a 3-point line. Then came January 5, 1988. Maravich walked into a church gym in Pasadena, California for a casual pickup basketball game. No giant crowd, no championship, just basketball. During the game, Maravich reportedly said he felt great. Moments later, he collapsed. He was 40 years old, but his death wasn't the most shocking part. The autopsy was. Doctors discovered Maravich had been born without a left coronary artery. One of the major arteries normally supplying blood to the heart simply wasn't there. His right coronary artery had enlarged to compensate. Think about that. Childhood basketball, 3 varsity seasons averaging more than 44 points, 10 NBA seasons, 5 All-Star appearances, and for roughly 40 years, the defect remained undiscovered. Then, during an ordinary pickup game, his heart stopped. And somehow, the next case is even more disturbing, because this time, there was a warning. Reggie Lewis wasn't retired. He wasn't 40. He was the captain of the Boston Celtics, and he was only 27. In April 1993, Lewis was playing in an NBA playoff game against Charlotte when he suddenly collapsed on the court. He eventually got back up, but now there was a question nobody could ignore. What had just happened to his heart? Doctors examined him. His future became uncertain. Lewis still wanted to return. 3 months later, on July 27th, he entered a gym at Brandeis University for an off-season workout. Then he collapsed again. This time, he didn't get back up. Reggie Lewis died from sudden cardiac death. 27 years old, an NBA All-Star, a team captain, a player Boston expected to help carry the franchise into its next era. But in the same summer Lewis died, basketball had already lost another 28-year-old star. And this death had nothing to do with the human body failing. No hidden heart defect, no disease, just one moment on a German highway. Drazen Petrovic represented proof that a European guard could cross the Atlantic and become an NBA star. During the 1992-93 season with the New Jersey Nets, Petrovic averaged 22.3 points per game while shooting nearly 45% from three. He was 28. He was entering his prime. Then came June 7, 1993. Petrovic was riding in a car on the Autobahn in Germany when the vehicle collided with a truck near Denkendorf. Petrovic was killed, 28 years old. One season, he was averaging more than 22 points per game in the NBA. Weeks later, he was gone. No decline, no retirement tour, no final chapter. And the next legend survived something almost nobody else in basketball history ever experienced. Being 7'6", Manute Bol was one of the tallest players the NBA had ever seen. But after basketball, some of his most important work came through humanitarian causes connected to Sudan. Then, his own body began to fail. Bol developed Stevens-Johnson syndrome, a rare and potentially life-threatening condition affecting the skin and mucous membranes. Severe complications followed. On June 19, 2010, Manute Bol died. He was 47. But none of these stories would affect modern basketball like what happened on one foggy morning in California. So now we return to the helicopter. January 26, 2020. Kobe Bryant had been retired for less than 4 years. 5 NBA championships, 18 All-Star selections, 33,643 career points, an 81-point game, 20 seasons, 1 Lakers uniform. His basketball career was finished, but his life after basketball was only beginning. His 13-year-old daughter Gianna loved the game. Kobe coached her team, and that morning they were traveling together to a youth basketball tournament. They boarded a helicopter with 7 other people. The weather around Los Angeles was poor. Fog covered parts of the hills. As the helicopter approached Calabasas, conditions became increasingly difficult. Then it entered the clouds. The pilot became spatially disoriented. The helicopter began descending rapidly. Seconds later, it struck a hillside. There were no survivors. 9 people died. Kobe Bryant was 41. Gianna was 13. The National Transportation Safety Board later concluded that the pilot's decision to continue visual flight into conditions where he could no longer safely see was a key cause of the crash, followed by spatial disorientation. And maybe that's why Kobe's death felt impossible to so many people. Fans had watched him survive 20 NBA seasons, broken fingers, a torn Achilles tendon, thousands of collisions, games played through pain, and after all of that, basketball wasn't what killed him. A short helicopter flight did. Some of these legends reached their 80s. Others never reached 30. Some knew something was wrong. Others had no warning at all. Different generations, different careers, different endings. But eventually, every scoreboard reaches 0. And that's the strange thing about sports legends. The highlights make them feel permanent. You can still watch Kobe score 81 points. You can still watch Wilt produce numbers that shouldn't exist. You can still watch Pete Maravich throw passes that look decades ahead of their time. You can still watch Drazen Petrovic bury jump shots. You press play, and for a few seconds, they're back. The player disappears. The footage doesn't. So, here's the question. Which basketball legend's death shocked you the most? And which legend should be in part 2? Tell me in the comments, because records eventually get broken. Legends are much harder to replace.